Welcome to our channel. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon, so you won't miss any of our content. Hello, it is good to have you back. Has it ever happened to you that you see someone on the street and inadvertently end up judging them by their appearance? It has happened to all of us. And it is an unfortunate fact when we realize that we are mostly wrong with prejudices and accusations. That is why the story that we have brought for you today, you will see how a little boy with limited resources ended up showing this man that love, kindness, and a good heart is true wealth that you can have. I invite you to accompany me until the end to know more. A man, who owns a restaurant, one day had to take the subway because his private car was being repaired in the workshop. However, what he experienced that day has no comparison, not even with traveling in a luxury car to the most expensive place in the world. And it is that, in that place, sitting in the wagon like an ordinary man, he saw a child approaching with sweets. His first impression of him was that he was a traveling candy vendor, but it wasn't just that, and what he saw afterwards surprised him greatly. The boy began to talk to everyone who was sitting there and showing the sweets he was carrying. He said in a broken tone that he needed help, that he did not want anything given away, nor did he demand more money than the goodies were worth. After those words he said that his mother had recently died in a car accident and that in that accident his father also suffered a great impact. He had been blind and he wanted to help him with the expenses of the day. When that boy finished the story, many were moved and bought him sweets. However, that man did not do so, because he thought that the story was only a manipulation strategy. The next day, that man went to his restaurant as usual, and saw sitting at one of the tables the same boy that he had met the day before selling sweets, but this time he was accompanied by a somewhat older man wearing dark glasses. It was at that moment that he realized that the story was true, but even so, he ignored the situation a bit, until the boy approached him to ask aloud for 2 meat scoops. The owner of the restaurant wrote down the order himself, but just when he was about to turn around, the boy approached him and in a low voice said, "Just give me a soup with meat. Today I will have to sacrifice myself, but don't say anything. My father will not know because he is blind." The man served 2 dishes, one of meat and one simple, so that at least the child could eat some vegetables, but when he delivered the order himself, he listened as the boy's father took out pieces of meat from his soup and he gave them to his son and said, "You are young, you need to eat enough meat to be strong." So far, the gesture had seemed quite moving, but what he did not think is that the child, without his father noticing it, also took it piece by piece and gave it back to him. The owner of the restaurant wanted to participate in the scene, however, he preferred to withdraw because this type of emotions ended up confusing him, but when the boy and his father left the place, he was curious to see how they had paid. The boy had left the exact amount of the soups aside, and a few inches away he left another paper where he thanked for the services and left him a tip with what he had saved by choosing only a meat dish. It was then that the man almost burst into tears when he saw how himself later judged the little boy. Even so, his good heart ended up giving him a great life lesson. A lesson that shows that we must certainly be kinder in this world. We should never judge anyone by appearances. This is something we must always keep in mind. Now tell me, what did you think of this moving story? Leave us your comment.